This DVD is to be used together with the BCU 2-star trainers and assessors notes to assist candidates, trainers and assessors in understanding the requirements of the new 2-star award. This DVD highlights the multi-boat philosophy of generic paddle sport skills. Trainers should provide a wide range of paddle sport experiences in a variety of craft. Within the assessment advice provided, the Pacific kayak and canoe requirements are highlighted.
Okay, what about the actual lifting of the boat?
Now we go back.
Okay, so the idea is and what does that do if we knock it on back straight? What does that do? Okay, it's going to make me use the bigger, stronger muscles in my legs, isn't it, to do all the lifting? Yeah. Ross, do you want to just show us?
Students should be introduced to safe moving and handling techniques such as avoiding twisting when lifting, keeping the boat close to the body, and the importance of working together.
3, 2, 1. There we go. And we can use that to carry a heavy, fully laden sea kayak. What I'm trying to do is to adjust. This is an adjustable seat, so we're adjusting that seat so that
students should understand how and why a footrest, backrest and/or seat should be properly adjusted.
Often, sometimes we'd be talking about our knees, sometimes we'd be talking about our feet. Just tuck one leg under you. Yeah. There we go. So very often, you can sit down again, but very often we can move ourselves around in these boats quite a lot. Every time you move around, you can then work out where your points of connectivity are.
Students need to gain experience getting into and out of a craft from a variety of shore and banks. For the assessment, candidates must demonstrate safe lifting and carrying principles. Assistance is recommended for safe practice. The candidates should know how to alter the position of the footrest, backrest and where practical the seat. At the water's edge, the boat must be floating and entry achieved without the aid of a paddle.
So as we place the paddle in the water, I want you to try and get that paddle reasonably vertical, especially the canoe. I want you to think about stacking your hands.
Students should understand the importance of a good upright posture, utilising body rotation from the seat and hips. Coaches should create an awareness of how effective paddling using the major muscles of the body, rather than just the arms, will generate more efficient and powerful strokes. The efficient forward paddling stroke should create a smooth passage of the boat through the water. When in a canoe, the appropriate trim needs to be understood and used. For the assessment, candidates must show an active posture using the larger muscles of the body and power being created by trunk rotation, built around strong connections between the paddle shaft and the upper trunk. The candidate should also demonstrate a smooth power transfer from paddle to boat with no excessive bobbing of the boat or body.
So the advantage we've just said is that of the stern rudder, it gives us this real powerful correction, which in turn allows us to make a real powerful forward paddling stroke, yeah? So if the stern rudder then is so good, what's the advantage then of the other type of forward paddling, that J-stroke? What's the advantage of the J-stroke?
So you're using the same face as a blade.
Exactly that.
Students should experience steering solutions including stern sweeps, rudders and J-strokes. The emphasis is to be on learning the effect the paddle has and a fluent application depending on the situation. From a good running speed, the boat is to be kept straight through a narrow gap by use of a trailing paddle or rudder. The gap should be approximately 2 times the boat's width. If the boat has a rudder fitted, then this should be used as well. When paddling a canoe as part of the assessment, the candidate should demonstrate steering solutions including stern sweeps, rudders and J-strokes. In a kayak, the candidate should be able to keep the boat running straight through a narrow gap by the use of a trailing paddle or rudder.
So the power then for this reverse stroke starts here at the hip. Yeah, we're driving the boat forward, and then to get the correction, what we're trying to do is to drop this thumb like that.
Students should work to manoeuvre and position the boat in a controlled and accurate manner. An ability to control direction is being sought here. Good technique is still important, but accuracy now also becomes an important element. Students should experience a variety of situations that require accurate manoeuvring. The candidate needs to demonstrate controlled and accurate manoeuvring and positioning of the boat by paddling the boat into a confined space and then reversing it out to exit. When reversing, looking where they are going must be in evidence. Students should understand the requirement for good body rotation towards the paddle side and an effective upright paddle. Students should experiment with a variety of strokes, but understand the requirements for an effective draw stroke. Students should be able to perform powerful and balanced strokes using the core muscles and correct posture, while ensuring little yawing from side to side. During the assessment, candidates need to be able to move the boat sideways 5 metres without excessive swing to both the left and right. The active blade should remain submerged throughout the stroke. In the canoe, the paddler needs to demonstrate both use of draws and prize or cross-deck draws.
And as we're then trying to right the boat, all we're doing is pushing this leg and driving that leg forward. And you can see as I drive this leg forward, this will drop.
Students should experiment with finding the balance points in different craft. Students should be confident in performing low brace recovery, high recovery and sculling for support.
So it's the body influencing what the boat does. So all I do is I come up over the paddle, and then as I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the paddle, I drive this leg forward.
The coach should introduce the importance of the use of the body, i.e. hip and knee pressure, in getting the boat back to the balance position, and the role of the core muscles in creating a strong brace. For assessment, candidates should show the efficient low recovery stroke on both sides with the paddler off balance. Tandem canoe paddlers have to use draws and low recovery strokes.
Okay, so Nick, what we can do in open canoe then to change the edge is just move our weight. Now very often all that entails is moving this knee to that side into that bilge, and that will then weight this side of the boat to put the edge on for you. Yeah? Libby, when you're come to do a turn, what we're going to do with you is to just play with some outside edge turns. So what that means is we're going to edge the boat that way.
Students should experiment with a variety of strokes and degrees of edge to achieve a turn. boat needs to turn efficiently whilst under momentum. Students should understand the effects of trim in both kayak and canoe. Kayak paddlers need to be familiar with sweeps, both forward and reverse, stern and bow rudders, and braces. Canoe paddlers need to be familiar with draws and quarter sweeps and J-strokes for doubles, and outside pivot and C-strokes for solo paddling. Students should be taught strategies for slowing down or speeding up a turn, i.e. slow wide turns and fast short turns of varying degrees. The concept of looking for future water should also be introduced. For assessment, both canoes and kayaks need to be turned whilst on the move. A selection of smooth, wide and tight turns should be performed through 90, 180, 270 and 360 degrees. Candidates should demonstrate the correct approach to the bank and exit the boat without use of the paddle. Balance and control should be retained throughout.
And then we can pull it just tight and then arrange it then so the buckle kind of sits up there a little bit. That means we can pull down then.
Training should look at the basic knots with ropes and effective use of straps, particularly when tying boats to a roof rack. The candidate must be able to secure a boat at the end of a session by either tying down onto purpose-made rack or to the roof rack using ropes or straps. The use of a swimming pool is an ideal controlled environment for training safety and rescue skills. Care and concern for the students and other paddlers as well as equipment should be looked at and discussed.
Hold the size of the cockpit, I take it as well.
A controlled capsize with no signs of panic is required. Then they should rescue themselves by either swimming ashore with their equipment and emptying, or by climbing back in and bailing dependent on the style of boat. For assessment, the candidate must capsize the boat with a spray deck or straps as appropriate and show no sign of panic. They should then rescue themselves by either climbing back in and bail or swim ashore with all their equipment and empty. Paddlers may assist each other at any time.
Alright Jenny, come back to the front of my boat. You okay?
Yeah.
Nice and paddle.
Good lifting and handling techniques must be highlighted. Training should cover different ways to effect a deep water rescue and how a paddler in the water can be useful in the rescue. Students should become comfortable with at least one method of deep water rescue.
Right, go around the other side of your boat. Right then, can you jump into your boat? Right, now keep nice and low. Nice and low. That's the way. Okay, gonna jump into my boat. Try to step straight into the middle of the gunnels. So in the middle of your boat, and then straight into the middle of my boat. That's it. Hold on to the gunnels. That's the way. Nice one. Right then, you stay there. Slide back a bit. Right. There we go.
For assessment, candidates must demonstrate helping a peer back into their boat after capsizing.
Middle of your boat. Lovely jumping.
Aspects of basic journey planning, use of weather information, basic map work, and how to keep a group together should be covered within personal risk management. For the assessment, candidates should plan and execute an accompanied journey, taking into consideration personal risk management and awareness of others as part of this accompanied sheltered water journey. The candidates should be able to provide details regarding the start and finish locations, description of the stretch of water being paddled, anticipated weather, kit list, transport arrangements, access permissions, anticipated hazards, and anticipated timings and emergency procedures. Trainers need to ensure students have theoretical understanding within the areas of equipment, safety, hypothermia and first aid, access, the environment and planning, all in line with the level of the 2-star award. Sample questions for this part of the assessment can be viewed in the assessor's notes.